Guy who plays the bartender in part 3 is in it.
Okay.
Don Full of Love is in it in one scene, Mayor Goldie Wilson.
Jeez.
And then at the end of the movie, after they've defeated the bad guy, they go to a club and rock out to Jack Mack and the Heart Attack, which was the guy who did the singing on Johnny Be Good.
Jeez. Wow, that's pretty impressive there. Doesn't beats a good reference to Back to the Future. It seems like a lot of
Yeah,
films are.
listen,
Yeah.
I've watched movies all the time, and seeing a movie from that time period that I just have no concept of, what a great time capsule they are. All the fashions, the background stuff, the cars. You think you've seen them all, and there's a whole bunch you haven't. More than
Oh,
you
absolutely,
haven't.
absolutely. Well, it looks like the live is working, so we'll get started here. Uh, just so you're aware, here I was able to get it. We're doing live on multi live. We're doing live on Facebook and live on YouTube. So we're doing both factions at the same time. Hey,
Yeah,
what's up?
we're broadcasting.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. What's up, everybody? This is Frankie Slauson here, and welcome to, episode 1 of my new video show that I'm doing here on Facebook. And I was finally able to get, my first guest. I have another guest that you'll see later, either this week or next week, that we're going to do an interview with. But that's going to be a big surprise, especially the caliber of films that this guy has done. But my first guest is a guy who has done. Well, you're an author, you're a video guy, you're a YouTuber, and just all around good guy, and the author of
Yeah.
Your Friend in Time, Mr. Jeff Tucker. How's it going, Jeff?
Hey, thank you. Good. Good to
Yeah,
be here. Good to talk to you.
yeah, it's good to have you on board here. We chatted about a year ago. Kind of when I kind of introduced
Yeah.
myself to you or whatnot, and I felt like we kind of got we weren't able to really finish the interview that we did, even though I don't remember any of the questions or anything that we really talked about. Even though we talked about Back to the Future and all that stuff in your
Mhm.
life or whatever, but then you had to leave because you had other things going on. So I figured let's just do a part 2 and let's see where it goes. And we have a little time to do it, so let's just have some fun. So how's it going currently in California? That'll be my first question.
Oh, it's going crazy here. California is the strictest state in the union right now. We have lockdowns on lockdowns, and there's so much you can't do. And I've obeyed every rule this year. The only one that's got me every time, like I wear a mask. I've scheduled to get my vaccine, but this is such a problem across the nation. But in California, it's so bad. There's no bathrooms anywhere. Every fast food joint is locked tight, drive-through only, pickup only, Grubhub only, and if you have to go to the restroom, you're out of luck. So going out becomes a game of hopping from one Target or Walmart to the next, because that's literally the only place you can find that's open with a restroom. And it's tough. I mean, you don't even think about it in the old days. Like, oh, I'll stop in, I'll get a dollar soda at McDonald's and I'll use the restroom. All that's out the window because everything's closed, and there's no indication that it's ever going to open.
Wow.
The restaurants here will not open for dine-in.
That's nuts. Because I was kind of wondering about that because I've been following the news a little bit, and like I've told viewers before, I don't want to make this show political, but we're not talking about politics. We're talking about
That's perfect.
just like going about your business, your daily thing. Where
Yeah.
the media has scared us for over a year, trying to make us seem like we're all dying and everything. Yes, some people have died, but not everybody's dying. Some people know how to take care of themselves, and it's very very weird. And I figure since you're from California, you could give us kind of an insight, because you live it every day. And Jeff does a video series called Tucker Time, which I'm surprised doesn't get more viewers, especially that you've gone HD now and everything. I know it took a little bit, but still. You should be getting more
Yeah.
viewers than you do. I don't understand. I don't get it. But anyway,
Well, no, I can actually tell you why. I know exactly why. Uh, all of the YouTubers that are successful, who have thousands and thousands of subscribers, they're all popular because they're niche. The one guy I watch does videos on Las Vegas, and this guy does action figure reviews, and this guy does that. I don't do that. It's just slice of life. So either you dig it or you don't, but most people won't find it because we're not in any of the search algorithms. Because even if I do an episode of like Frankensons, which is a big warehouse here that has a toy show and comic show every week, even that, it just won't get into the algorithm because I'm not laser focused on that single topic, So, and I don't mind. I'm always clear that the show is basically a time capsule for my kids so that years later they can look at these videos and go, oh, this was the year we spent in quarantine. And what was that really like? Imagine if we had that from 100 years ago. Instead of, and I don't knock anybody who does a specific show because that's what I enjoy. But mine are totally different, and the fact that nobody watches them, just a small audience, it's fine with me. If I'm popular, it means I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's right. And then we'll see in the media tabs or whatever, tabloids or whatnot. Jeff Tucker, has become a Mother Tucker. I tell you,
that's right.
Yeah. But I've been enjoying the videos. Honestly, it's like every week I look forward. We never know how many videos we're getting a week. We're gonna get a couple, or I know it's hard to do daily videos, especially if you're not really making. I mean, the fun is there, but it's like you're busy guys, so you have things to do. I'm sure if you were more, if you were had more time, you would do like when you did the dailies, about a year ago. That's where I kind of found you a little bit. And then I found, well, it's you, Adam the Woo, and all that stuff, and but then I started to get to know you and know your family, and then I was just like, I gotta send this guy some stuff, just because.
I know a lot. I know some of the locals, like I know Adam the Woo, I know Justin from Random Land, I know a few others, and they're some of the greatest people on earth. And even when you talk to them, they go, "This is tough, man." I won't say who said that, but a couple of them have said to me like, it's a tough road because you have to constantly be working and editing. And you know what? Going to places is fun. Waving a camera around is fun. Sitting down to edit is some of the worst times you've ever had. You start to hate yourself.
I get that, but in a way, I don't mean to be bitter or sour or mad at everybody else's success, because everybody has their own success, so it is what it is. But when the person's telling you that, who's been so successful, or whoever it may be that may have said that, who has made millions of dollars on YouTube and all that stuff, and to tell me, it's hard. Well, it must have been hard in the beginning, but then you must have got, something must have clicked, because like Adam the Woo, for example. I love Adam the Woo. He's done so good. He's such a positive influence and everything. But it's hard for me to feel sorry for him a little bit sometimes in hard situations when the guy has gone everywhere, when he's found a way to go everywhere.
I give it up to Adam, man. That guy gets everywhere. I live vicariously through him. And I did a convention a couple of years ago. Remember conventions?
Yeah.
And I did a panel. I did a Back to the Future panel, and on it I had Joe Walser, who restored the time machine.
Yep. Had him on before.
Steve Concatelli, who directed Out of Time. That's the
the Back to the Future documentary. Yep.
Yeah, about the restoration of the car. Yep. I had Chris Gore from Film Threat, and I had Justin, who was a huge Back to the Future fan. And so we went back to my table to meet and greet with people, and Justin's fans are rabid. He has such great fans. But we learned something about them, and that's there are a lot of older people, and they use Justin to travel for them. They can't travel a lot, so they follow Justin and live vicariously. And I remember talking to Justin and telling him, like, that's such a great service to be able to hit the open road and brave all the elements and then film it so that people, who are shut in, who have illnesses that they can't do that.
Sure.
That's a really good service. I mean, his series on Route 66 was just phenomenal, and he does it every couple of years. He goes up Route 66 and back, and all the stuff in between.
Wow, that is kind of fun. I mean, and like I said, I'm not trying to knock anybody down, because everybody has their own success, and it's cool that people are able to find their niche. I started doing YouTube back in 2008 just for fun, because I just like you, I just thought, well, I mean, I don't know how big of an audience I'll get or if I'll get one at all. But back in 2008, it seemed like everybody was able to get more people to watch for some reason, just because YouTube was still kind of new, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, YouTube is the same trajectory as podcasting, because I've done my own podcast since 2014.
Yeah,
and podcasting, like YouTube channels, were originally for the fringe people, for us who had no voice, no platform to put content out, and we all got an audience because we were giving people something they couldn't get anywhere else. But now when you tune into a podcast, it's like, part of the podcast family, and don't miss Mini Driver's new podcast. And it's like, I guess podcasts are dead now because every celebrity has one. It's like, no, you had a voice already. You did a full series of movies. You did all the talk shows, the TV shows. This podcasting, like YouTube, was supposed to be for the little guy, but all of that's out the window.
Well, I wish that Michael J. Fox or Christopher Lloyd would have done a podcast, like had their own series, because I think they would be successful. Even though, yeah, they had their success, but I mean, it's like it's always nice to hear new stories, because it's like we're constantly learning about the Back to the Future trilogy that's been out for so long, and yet it's like once in a while, even when I'm looking on Facebook or whatever, I always run into something that I've never seen before, or like a new fact or something.
Isn't it amazing to watch a movie this many times and still find something new in it? That's so weird to me. Again, on that panel, we had Michael Klostorin. He was the unit.
Okay.
Visual encyclopedia, which is the Bible of Back to the Future. So anytime I run into something, I run it by Michael first, because he's the godfather of Back to the Future. And he can be very short with people because his patience is at a steady beat of just bombardment of people who claim to be experts on the movies. And Michael sets them straight, and I always applaud him and go, dude, thank you for that. Remember the whole thing with Eric Stoltz is still in the movie, and I'm going to go frame by frame like the Zapruder film and prove it to you.
Yeah. No kidding. No, it's amazing. That's why I was, for those of you who saw my video the other day, I mentioned about the movie, The Wildlife, finally coming out on Blu-ray. And, I already looked at it on because I got a 75-inch TV that I watch my movies on, 4K and everything. And I popped this in because I have a pretty good player. And they cleaned it up pretty good, even compared to the DVD. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the DVD yet that I sent you, but I think they cleaned it up. Yeah,
it's cleaner.
Yes. Oh yeah, way cleaner. I mean, it looks like they just made it.
I went and you can rent your own movie theater now, and for $100 you can watch an older movie on the big screen. So I rented, and it's coming up this week or early next week. We rented out and watched Spaceballs on the big screen.
Oh, wow.
Which, I saw Spaceballs in the theater like 1987. It's quite a while ago. But seeing it on the big screen for the first time forever with my kids was so much fun. And talk about finding new moments in the movie. I was stunned at how much of Spaceballs, because I guess when you have it at home, you just don't pay attention the way you do when you're in a movie theater and you're like, look, I paid for this. I'm not moving. I'm going to watch this movie. And I'll tell you, there are a couple of jokes I had never heard before. The first was when the ship is turning into Mega Maid. He picks up the phone and he goes, it's time for the metamorphosis. Yes, Kafka, metamorphosis. And he hangs up. I'd never caught that reference. The second was when the self-destruct is activated, the klaxons are going off and the sirens, and you hear President Scrooge go, where are we, Paris? Because it sounds like Parisian police. And then the best one, the absolute best one, I actually turned to one of my kids and I said, did I just hear that right? When they're trying to find the button to turn off the self-destruct and it doesn't work, Mel Brooks actually says the F word. It's so great. I'd never heard that before.
I don't know if if you know, but there's a for all these new releases or old catalog titles, we'll say, that have been coming out. There's a company called Kino Lorber. They're the ones that have been responsible for all like a lot of the a lot of like stuff like this, wildlife and all that. Well, Spaceballs just got a 4K upgrade not too long
Did
ago.
it really?
I believe on the same day as Wildlife coming out, and eventually I'll get that copy. I have the Mel Brooks box set. That's the Blu-ray
Yeah, me
that has
too.
all his classic films on there. I haven't watched Spaceballs in a long time, but it's definitely a classic. And I had Michael Winslow on many years ago. I got to interview him a couple of times, and
Oh, great.
and and he always goes back to the days of Spaceballs and stuff because he did Police Academy, all the Police Academy movies, and Spaceballs and a bunch of other things, and it's like it's nice to know that people respect it or care about their nostalgia. That they
Oh, yeah.
love to
Yeah.
keep talking about it and stuff rather than just like, oh, I don't want to talk about the past. I want to talk about the current movie I'm
Yeah.
promoting, and that's
Well,
it. Yeah.
isn't that the worst when you go to a concert? You go to a concert and the guy goes, "I'm going to play something off my new album." You go, "No, no, that's not why we're here,
Well,
man."
it depends on though. I'm a big Greg Kinn fan. Okay, I love Greg Kinn from the Greg Kinn band, but he's only known for a couple of hits. But he's done a catalog of so much stuff. You go on Spotify, you'll see everything that he's done, and yet he's only known for a few songs. I'm so sick of that. I mean, I don't mind
Yeah,
hit songs. I don't mind hit songs, but I mean, it's like, come on, what about some deep tracks here?
yeah, yeah.
So, and as somebody who used to do radio, it's like I'm glad that the stations that I worked for at least allow me to play what I wanted to play because
Oh, well,
I'm so sick and tired
I'll
of playing
tell
the
you,
hits.
I'll tell you out here, the radio's dead. The radio is so dead. They play the same 10 songs over and over again. I don't know who picked these songs. I don't know why. Like, I grew up in the 80s. I'm a
Yeah,
child of the 80s.
yeah,
We listened to Aha, Take on Me. It was a pretty cute song, and it had a great video. But the idea that it's the anthem of the decade makes no sense to me. I have no idea. It's on every day, every half hour, in between cuts of Don't Stop Believing. And I tell you, I love Freddie Mercury, but they should just retire Queen for about 5, 6 years and let us miss it because it's on every 20 minutes.
a band that I'm kind of sick of hearing about all the time, and even though they're still making music and all that, but just because all their songs sound the same. They can't, unless you go like back to their really early days, and maybe some of them, you'll find a different riff or so here and there.
Let me guess what you're talking about. Are you talking about U2?
Now I'm talking about AC/DC.
Oh, yeah, well, they have a very specific sound.
Yeah, it's like every song is the same. It's like da 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 da, Highway to Hell, or Black and Black, or
Uh-huh.
whatever. Now the Bon Scott days are, we're all right, because they're different. But Brian Johnson, the lead singer, is trying too hard to be, like Bon Scott or whatever. And their songs are just, I don't know. I mean, and that's just the thing. I know some people probably hate me for that because there's a lot of people up here that love AC/DC, that will listen to them till hell freezes over, literally, which we already thought it did, but whatever. But so you, let's see, I have your book here. I just had it. I was able to get a copy here just a few weeks ago, as I sent you, or tagged you in a photo. I've
Yeah,
skimmed through it. It looks a lot different. Must be a restored version than the original version that you had. And I
yeah.
know.
Amazon changed how they publish everything. And you
Okay.
know what's so odd is how it looks to me when I approve it is not how it looks when you buy it. So
Oh,
they're still working out the bugs of their publishing platform. When it was CreateSpace, I had no problems, but the new Amazon's pretty rough. It took me over a year to figure out how to republish that book.
oh, okay. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that because I mean, it's fine because I mean, it's nice to have a restored version of stuff. It's like
Yeah,
remastered. And you got an updated back cover and everything of you and Rachel. So I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
nice. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
to add that in there. When did you realize that it was time to kind of just do something different or kind of give it an update?
No, I wasn't comfortable with the subtitle on the cover because I don't own the title Back to the Future, and I noticed that a lot of the Back to the Future fan books do not have Back to the Future on the cover, and I assume that must have been for a reason. So I wanted to go in and eliminate that subtitle on the cover so that it didn't look like I was part of Universal Studios, because I didn't want a cease and desist letter.
Oh, geez, yeah. Imagine that. The biggest Back to the Future fan getting told by Universal, hey, McFly, get the frick out of here.
We're okay with the fact that you snuck onto the sets. We have a real problem with your cover, the title,
So I mean, I'm surprised. You talked about that you were a part of a Back to the Future panel, and then I remember seeing the first time I got introduced to you was like Adam the Moon did a video when he was at I think Doc Brown's house or whatever.
Yeah.
And this was like maybe a couple years ago or whatever it was. And you were signing copies of your book and whatnot. I'm surprised that they haven't, like, the Back to the Future community hasn't just, like, other than a few members maybe that have, been help restore it and whatever, just say, well, Jeff, you're such a big fan, we should just include you as a member of our family. Anytime we have a project or something, we're going to make sure we include you,
Well, I would never be so bold as to insert myself just being a fan. I have made friends with more Back to the Future affiliated people than I ever thought I would as a kid. If you'd have told me, you're going to be able to sit down and know these people, like I'm not Stephen Clark. Stephen Clark is the man, and you know what? God bless him, because in the late '90s, early 2000s, when I wasn't really, into Back to the Future the way I am now, because everybody ebbs and flows. Like, Stephen Clark never wavered. He's the guy from day one. I'm happy where I'm at. But when I did the convention circuit, because you have to buy your own copies to sell. They don't send you any copies. I'm doing it all myself.
Okay.
I bought a big number of copies because at a convention, you've been to many cons, right? You know what it's like a con.
I've only been to a couple, and they're not as big. See, in Minnesota here, we have tractor conventions. We just started getting comic conventions, but they're not like San Diego. They're not Comic-Con. They're not all that. But I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
So you go to WonderCon here, which is Comic-Con's little brother. It's usually in the spring, and a hot dog is $12. Nachos is $15. T-shirts are $30 and up. Everything is really expensive. So I had a table of Back to the Future books. I had the panel, and the panel was on Sunday. So I had Friday and Saturday of just trying to sell the book by itself. And the reason I brought the prices is that my book was $10. $10. It's a no-brainer. If you don't like it, bring it back. Or if you don't, what's $10? At a con, $10 is literally $1 in real life, because everything at the con is overpriced. And I thought I was going to set up and sell out and talk to people about Back to the Future. And instead, I was bombarded for 2 full days on what it means to be a fan. How big a fan are you? Why aren't you a bigger fan? Oh, you don't have a DeLorean? What gives you the right? One guy actually wanted to know if I was worried about the police because of the cover picture. And I looked at him very seriously, and I said, yes. I'm sure they're going to arrest me for something that happened in 1988. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Hey, look what happened to Bill Cosby. Hey.
Yeah, well, a little different. So on the table, I had the HalloweenCostumes.com hoverboard. I had the HalloweenCostume.com Nike mags. These are the low-end props, because you wouldn't put anything valuable on the table because it's just going to get zapped, right?
Yeah.
So a guy came up and he said, "Oh, you're like a big Back to the Future fan. Are these the real shoes?" And I looked at him and I said, do you really believe that these shoes would just be on the table valued at $100,000? I said, I'm flattered that you think I have them, but no, they're not. I said, the real shoes are actually Have you ever seen them? They're in a case and they've rotted to just dust almost. These are just cheap Halloween costume shoes. And he kind of like did that thing. He's like, well, you're not really a big fan, are you? And I said, no, I guess I'm not.
Wow.
I guess I'm not. You know, I bet that so much that weekend that I haven't sold at a con those books since. I'm not into it. Modern day fandom is so toxic and so weird, and everybody thinks there's some entry level, like there's some prerequisite. And the truth is, you can like anything for any reason, any amount.
Yeah.
And everybody's welcome to like whatever they like. When I was a kid, there wasn't Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars fans. There were just space fans. And we played together with our figures equally. So I don't understand anybody getting uptight about how someone, the right way to like something. I don't get that at all.
No, I don't either. And shame to those people that gave you a bad time. It's like, I mean, you can be a fan and still, have, you don't have to own everything. Hell, I've been a fan for over there, for most of my life, and yet I don't have a DeLorean. I don't have everything Back to the Future. I have other interests too. I mean, I love Back to the Future, but geez, yeah, it's like.
Here's the bright spot to that story. After we did the panel on Sunday, and I had been bombarded so much that weekend that I opened the panel. First, I lost my voice. So I was doing the panel like this. And I opened the panel and I said, hey, we have some really amazing guests here who actually worked on the film, the car, the documentary, the fandom. And we're going to talk about Back to the Future for about an hour here. And we had a full crowd. We had about 800 people in that room. And I said, before we begin, I think you guys need to understand that I consider Doc and Marty my friends. Like, they helped me when I was a teenager. I turned to them again and again. Like, I would watch, anytime I felt bad, I put Back to the Future on beta, and it made me feel better. I said, so we are not here to tear the movies down, the actors down, or anything. We're here to uplift them, ask some really fun questions with some really fun answers. And after the panel, we went back to the table and we sold a stack of books.
Oh,
so I guess sometimes you just have to explain your platform before people will buy into it. So I learned a lesson there.
And most people don't know who you are. I mean, you're just a
local
or so. I mean, if you were a bigger star, I guess then it's like, oh, your stuff would sell out in like 5 minutes or whatever they say for some reason.
You know what? I also have a book series I've written that's fiction, and I've sold those at cons. And those are $20 books because they weigh over a pound a piece.
Sure.
They're 500 pages.
So 60 or whatnot, or whatever that is.
60, yeah. I've had some kids come up the first year buying it, and the parents would go, we went the whole con, they saw all the toys and the costumes and the T-shirts, and this is what they want. And I just was so humbled, like, oh my gosh, I'm so honored that you want to read this. And then a couple years later, when the sequel came out, the same kids would come back and go, oh my God, I didn't know there was a part 2 or a 3. I can't wait. So that was really exciting to see. I'm actually working on the last book right now.
Did you ever present your books at any local libraries at all, or is it just kind of more like cons and stuff that, as far as that goes?
Libraries won't take them.
Really?
In order to get into a public library, you have to have a certain number of legitimately sourced reviews. New York Times, LA Times, legit, or they won't even look at you. And even like my kid's school, I said, hey, can I give this to the library? They said, oh, we don't take paperback books. It has to be a hardback book. I said, I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you a book. They wouldn't take it.
Here in Minnesota, or at least here in our I live in a small community, so it's like, less than like 700 people that live in this town. Our local library will take pretty much anything. You don't have to be a big star or whatever. Even if you wrote a book, they'll take it. And as long as it looks, like a real book, I mean, I don't get that. What, California, man, I tell you, if you're not a star, you're nobody, it seems like.
California, after the gold rush, when California was really being formed, was established by hippies who wanted a place to live with very few rules, where everybody could just live free and be an artist. We're so far from that. We have rules about everything here. We have rules about straws, napkins, forks, plates. We have the highest gas tax in the nation, the highest property tax, the highest sales tax, the highest unemployment. California is a mess.
Is it a mess over at Knott's Berry Farm, or is that a whole different world to you?
Oh no, Knott's Berry Farm is the warm center of the universe.
Tell people about Knott's Berry Farm, because I mean I'm sure there's a few of my viewers that have heard about that place, but I don't know if anybody's been over there.
Well, Minnesotans would know Knott's Camp Snoopy inside the Mall of America.
It's used to be Camp Snoopy over there, but they changed it to Nickelodeon Universe, I guess, a long time ago. But okay.
Knott's Berry Farm was started in the 1920s when a guy named Walter Knott and his wife Cordelia moved to Buena Park and started farming. Eventually, they discovered a brand new berry called the boysenberry. And the reason the boysenberry is so important is that it tasted completely different, and it was a lot bigger than most berries. So the crop yielded more pounds per acreage. And that was a big thing, because during the Depression, everybody was trying to make a buck. And the Knott family figured out that this berry could make pies, jellies, preserves, the whole bit. And they sold plants. So they became a pretty successful farm. In the late 30s, the wife, Cordelia, they had started a tea room where you could, instead of just buying a pie to take, because our Buena Park, where it's located, is on the way to the beach. So people would leave LA, get to Buena Park in an hour, load up on pies and jellies, and then go to the beach, 40 minutes down the road. So they started a tea room where you could have pie there and tea and cookies and stuff. And they started selling chicken dinner on their wedding china. And the chicken dinner became so popular that a few years later, the line for a chicken dinner on Sunday was about 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Like you would get there 3, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So Walter built a miniature replica of a ghost town to entertain people while they were waiting. And eventually the ghost town became so big that it turned into a theme park. And here we are 100 years later.
Wow. I see the photos and the videos that you take, of the place, and it looks like a fun place. Like if I ever went to Orange County, California, man, I tell you, I've been to Astoria, Oregon. That's as close as I've ever been to, where Goonies have been filmed.
The Goonies, the Goonies in Astoria.
But I've never been to California before, and I always thought it'd be kind of fun. I don't know if I want to go right now when it's like, when everybody's a crazy motherfucker, but
Give it another year. Don't come here. You ever see Star Trek 4?
I just got the Blu-ray of it, the whole collection. Yeah.
We're the beginning of Star Trek 4. Avoid the planet California at all costs.
Jeez. But I mean, it just seems like a fun place. Like I mean, I'm sure with its history and stuff. I mean, no kidding why you love working there. I mean, it's like you obviously played a bigger. I mean, do you do a lot over there, or what's your role as what's your job title?
So, I was working at the mall. You ever go in Spencer Gifts?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Spencer's. I was very successful at Spencer's because I can sell anybody anything. And the location I worked at was being closed, and I had a choice. I could become a manager at a store that was pretty far from my house or not. So I took a year off, and I did some extra work in the movies. And when that ended, I got a job at this theme park down the road and thought it would just be for a short time while I regrouped and decided what I wanted to do with my life. Well, that was 27 years ago, and I've done 100 different jobs on farm, but I've settled into my permanent role about 4 years ago, and I write shows for the park. So anytime Charlie Brown or Snoopy have a show, or you see cowboys fighting, there's a couple of us that write those, gunfights, you name, or the stuff that people don't think about, like when you buy a collector's pin and on the back it tells you all about the attraction. Like I write all that stuff.
Wow.
So I just spend my day working on the keyboard about Knott's Berry Farm, its characters, its history, and it's my dream job. It's if I could have told myself at 13, relax, you're going to get this job eventually. I would have been much happier then than I was.
So you have a lot of creative freedom anyway, as far as like what you're allowed to do.
Oh yeah, no. Knott's is. I worked at Disneyland for a short time as an actor. Most fun I've ever had acting. Oh my god! But creative wise, Disney's a much different animal.
Oh, of course.
Knott's, I can walk into my boss's office with an idea. If it's a good idea, 3 months later, it's in the park. It's a fully formed show.
Wow.
It's a very open place. In the field of entertainment, Knott's is an anomaly because we never close the door on a good idea, no matter who it comes from. Every meeting is, opened with every idea is good. Let's pursue ideas until we can't figure out how to get them taken care of. But I've never, and it's funny too, like all the years I've been there, the last 4 or 5 years have just been an explosion of creativity. In 1997, the Knott family sold the park to Cedar Fair, which operates Cedar Point and Canada's Wonderland and a bunch of other parks, Dorney Park, Great America. And so when that happened, things changed a little, but they've really come around to getting rid of the idea that these are amusement parks and more along the idea that they're theme parks, which is a different mindset because you want to talk about character and history, and it's so much fun.
But do you guys ever do like what the fairs do? Like have like any like bands or anybody show up and do like a concert or anything like that, or is it just strictly just theme park?
All the time. We book bands year round.
Okay.
There's a lot of local bands that have gotten nice gigs here. We've had. Hold on a sec. Yes, tell me come get his food. My son wants to eat food. We used to have these concert series where they give struggling bands their start. So we have a wall in one of the dressing rooms where they've all signed it, and it's the Dixie Chicks, NSYNC, Christina Aguilera, like all these big people who got their start at the Berry Farm. It's really cool.
Yeah. What's up, Austin? How's it going there?
Hello. He watches the show, so he knows you pretty well.
What's going on? Yes. I watch you guys all, when I say I'm a fan, I'm definitely a fan. There's no bullshit with that, You guys, you guys do so much good stuff, it's like, I'm just surprised, like we said earlier about why you're not up there, with everybody else, Why it'd be too hard to get a hold of you and be like, I'm sorry, you have to talk to my agent to get a hold of Jeff here.
Although, there's a video we put up where we were at Walmart goofing off, and a little girl, what was she, about 14, 15? Yeah. She came up to us and she's like, I watch your videos. And I was like, really? I was genuinely surprised. Like, you know who we are? That's so strange. I just wanted to say hi. I said, "That's great. Come be in the video."
She seemed pretty shy. It's just like, geez, if I knew you guys were in the area, I would be shy. It's just like I feel like I know you guys. I mean, it'd be weird at the beginning, but whatever.
There was another video where Random Land. Justin was the video with the soap, right?
The magic soap.
Yeah, he came to Knott's to buy some magic soap because he was going to take it up to this. Pumpkin rock and rub it. I don't know. It was very strange with his chicken Julio. But as he was leaving the park in the back, I saw him like, hey, we watched that guy's video. So he came over and we said hi. So on his video, he's like, yeah, I met this weird family. And all the comments were like, do you know who that is? Because I'm not famous by any stretch, but if you go to Knott's Berry Farm or Knott's Scary Farm, the Halloween event, it's hard not to know who I am because I got a big mouth.
Oh, sure.
So it's interesting to see people like, we know who that guy is too. That was pretty funny.
Well, what I enjoy is like, like when you guys do the Tucker Time stuff, it's like, it's literally everybody has a part. Everybody has even though it seems like Luna doesn't get much exposure too much. I mean, he's always doing other things or whatever. But, other than that, I mean, hey, Rachel, how's it going there? They know everybody, it's like we're just family, even though, hey. But I enjoy I enjoy Austin's music reviews. I really think he's coming along very very well with that. I really do enjoy that because I'm a music guy too. So it's like always kind of wonder what you're going to come up with next, and I like the same stuff that you like. So
thank you.
Pretty awesome.
Morning, he played "In Your Easter Bonnet." It's 1930s.
That's the best of
the 30s.
It was Frank Sinatra's cousin. What was his name?
Louis Sinatra.
It could be a lot worse there, Jeff. Austin could be all into hardcore rap. He could be like, "Hey, this mother effer, whatever." So be grateful that he likes old music.
I'm very happy to have raised geeks.
Yeah, see.
They made it better back then.
They might not like film like you do, but they love good music. So I tell you what.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff, Austin. Good to know that you're still doing that. Keep it going.
We'll do some more CD reviews soon. I need to get back on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, I mean, it's cool, and like I said, it's nice to know that everybody plays a part, because that's what I like about family vlogs. Because you're not just a family vlog, you just, you're getting everybody involved, and everybody seems to be pretty humorous. Everybody has a good sense of humor, so that makes it good. I'm sure you never thought you'd ever do this with your family at all.
No, never. The shutdown diaries that we start with were just, hey, if we're all dead in a year, at least we'll have left something behind that people can remember us by.
Sure.
Because the TV was telling us early last year, that we're all going to die. Our governor got on TV and said, by August, 28 million Californians will have the coronavirus. Like, he was so far off, and it was all designed to scare people. And, for a couple of weeks, we were terrified.
Oh, sure.
We were told to wipe down our groceries before we brought them in, to leave our shoes at the door, like all this crazy stuff. And, it only lasted till the first week of June before I said, look, we took a road trip to Arizona and ate in a restaurant because we just had to.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
The videos are we're like the mouthed Osbournes.
Oh, there you go. There you go. More of a cleaner version of the Osbournes. Yeah. So since you're an avid movie guy, and since you love talking about movies, what's on your like a watch list? What are you currently watching, or what are you planning on watching, or what's kind of?
I just edited a video together. We found a video store 6 miles from our house that I'd never been to before, that was going out of business. So I walked in, and it looked like 2003 in there. All the shelves were lined with DVDs and Blu-rays, and they had the little signs that said action adventure. They had remember the little booth with the adult movies?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. They had all that too.
the lady who owned it said, yeah, I'm going out of business, and the DVDs are 50 cents and the Blu-rays are $1. So
and the extra, the porn are like $2, right?
Yeah. So, oh my God, I went twice. I was there for about 4 hours or 5 hours. I bought about 300 movies.
Oh, jeez. Well, there goes the family vacation there.
I went back twice. I was like, I have to go again. I have to see what else is there. So I have so many movies to watch right now. So many movies that I just never had the shot to buy that cheap.
Sure.
Were
they all in pretty good condition? Like discs weren't scratched or anything? Or?
Yeah, they're all flawless because, no offense, she wasn't doing a lot of business. They weren't renting. Her rentals were $3 a night.
Oh, wow.
Most people just, obviously just go on Netflix or Disney Plus and watch a movie and not go in. So she's out of business. No, I have stacks of movies to watch. I'm trying to watch movies I may have missed, because the last time that happened, I watched Tombstone. I had never seen Tombstone, and I was blown away by how entertaining it was.
Wow.
So I have all these stacks of movies I'm dying to watch. I just watched the most bizarre movie ever. You ever heard of a movie called The Skin I Live In?
Sounds like a horror film.
It's a psychological horror film. It's by Pedro Almodovar, who had a run in the late 80s, early 90s of very important Hispanic movies. And this one's Antonio Banderas. And I kind of knew what it was about, but I didn't really know what it was about. He plays a doctor he's trying to invent skin that won't burn.
Oh, geez.
So he's been doing experiments, and in his house he has this poor woman locked in a room, and he keeps experimenting on her skin and testing to see with a blowtorch if it'll burn or not. And for the first 30 minutes, I have no idea what I'm watching. No idea. And then all hell breaks loose in the movie, and you find out that his wife died in a fire after she left him, and the guy that she ran off with shows up and rapes the girl that's locked in a room because the girl that's locked in a room looks like his wife. And he had a daughter. The daughter and the wife both killed themselves because they went insane, and he might be insane. And the plot of the movie, I'm not kidding, is the daughter goes to a party and may or may not have been raped. It's not really shown in the movie, but he thinks she's been raped. So he kidnaps that guy, and that's who's in the room. He's been turning her into a woman.
Oh,
it is so crazy and so dark that I couldn't stop watching.
Makes you wonder who comes up with that creative idea. Like, oh, this is the movie we're gonna make.
Yeah, it was crazy, but no, I got stacks and stacks. And the next one I'm going to watch is a movie called Sorry to Bother You. Oh. Have you ever seen Sorry to Bother You?
Sounds like the next episode of Tucker's Time. Sorry to bother you. We're the Tuckers.
It's about a guy, an African-American guy who gets a job as a telemarketer. It's hello, sir, sorry to bother you, but I have a great offer for you.
Oh.
And he's told by his bosses that the only way to make sales is if he sounds white, whatever that means. And no joke, this movie ends with, I think he turns into a centaur.
Oh. Okay.
Who knows?
That's messed up.
Yeah, I have stacks of these movies. I have a whole bunch of just catalog movies like Wildlife and the John Candy collection you gave me.
Sure.
Movies I may have seen but like to revisit. I mean, I'm a big fan of just watching movies that make you feel good.
So do you feel, because I mean, there's a lot of talk nowadays. I mean, I guess this talk has been going on for a little while, but the difference between physical media and digital media. Do you feel like physical media is starting to die out, or do you think it's going to be around for a little while longer? Like, you go to the store and buy stuff or whatever.
Yeah. As a guy who goes to the swap meet, I go to the swap, which sometimes in other parts of the country they're called flea markets. I go to them a lot. I can tell you that to the average person, physical media is dead. Because when I buy a stack of 20 movies, they look at me like I'm crazy. But here's the thing. I got into, because, how do you say this? Like, I used to collect CDs. And when I got iTunes, I got rid of all my CDs. Who needs them, right?
Yeah.
Why am I carting them around?
Sure.
I used to have 500 laser discs. Remember laser discs?
Yeah, I've never had a laser disc player, but I know what they look like. Yeah.
I got into laser discs because that was the only way to watch the letterbox versions of Ghostbusters, Back to the Future,
Sure.
Big Hunt for Red October. So eventually I got to the point where I said, I can't carry these movies anymore. I'm going to sell them all, and I'm going to convert to DVD. Well, there was a time when it was like, well, we should get rid of DVDs because now that everything's going digital, you don't need these DVDs anymore. And then I saw an article where a guy went on his iTunes to watch a movie, and it wasn't there. And when he contacted customer support, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
customer support said, oh, sir, you don't own that movie. You have a license to watch it, but we can withdraw it at any time from you, and that movie has now been withdrawn.
Even though you paid physical money for it and everything, yep.
Right. So,
Oh, yeah.
and there was also a thing with, I think was it John Deere tractors? Some big company said, well, you don't actually own the tractor, that you can use it, but if you decide to sell it to a third party, you have to involve us somehow because we're still in like, no, that's mine. I bought that. So about 2 years ago, I got on a kick at the thrift stores of just anytime I saw an obscure film, I would buy it.
Sure.
You know, I wasn't buying, Cinderella. I was buying like full moon horror movies from the early 90s and stuff like that.
Probably a lot of B-rated stuff, probably. A lot of deep stuff, you know? Yeah.
Once you buy it and put it on your shelf, it's yours.
Oh, yeah.
Until you decide to get rid of it, you know. And some of them, I discovered, like, wow, some of these are really valuable. Holy cow. You know, I got, do you remember Faces of Death?
That's another title I've never heard of. You come up with all these unique titles. I love it, but it's like I've never heard of these films.
I worked at a video store in the late 80s, and one of the titles the owner would not buy was a tape called Faces of Death.
Huh.
And I think they had 4 or 5 volumes of it. And basically it was like just newsreel and home movies of things dying.
Oh.
You know, like a guy parachuting out of the sky into power lines, or a guy falling into alligators, or the most famous one that everybody talks about is a restaurant where they put a monkey in the middle of the table and they murder the poor monkey to eat his brains. I mean, it's really hardcore crazy. But in the 80s, a lot of stores wouldn't stock it. So getting to watch it was this weird rite of passage. Did you get it? We have to find. I heard Toby's got Faces of Death from rental. We got to go watch it before it's due back. So I found that at a thrift store for $2.99, and it's like $100 DVD. I had no idea. Now, I don't even want to watch it. I think it's disturbing, but I have it now for posterity, you know?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like a lot of films as well, and that's why I continue to buy, because finding out that they can revoke anytime they want. You know, I have a Vudu account, so I have digital movies and stuff. I have about 700, but they're not mine. You know, I mean, they're mostly ones that either I paid for a little few dollars for, or like got a digital code. But I was stupid too. I got rid of my whole collection. I had more than I have right now, or maybe, yeah, probably more than what I have right now. But it was just because at the time, I in 2015, I bought a vehicle and I couldn't afford to do much, so I had to make payments and all that shit and all that. But eventually, I decided to get my collection back. But this time, I made sure everything was on better quality, or like a special edition or something, that, because most now it's like all the stuff that I like, other than Walk Like a Man with Howie Mandel. That's still not out on Blu-ray. It's on DVD, but not Blu-ray. I like higher quality films. I like, old films that look better in Blu-ray or 4K quality. And most of the films that I like are now there. So it's like, so I feel like I've gotten better with my collection as far as like more organization.
Yeah. If you go on Netflix or one of those services with the idea of a certain movie you want to watch, it's never there. They're always going to just suggest some side project or one that's kind of like it, but never like that movie. And that gets frustrating for a movie guy like me, because when I want to watch a certain movie, I want to watch it. Yeah. So I just keep buying, and I'm so stupid. Like, I've bought the same movies 3 or 4 times because I've forgotten that I've bought it. So like, I have stacks of movies. I'm like, oh my God, I already bought this movie, but well, now I have it again, Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes you might find out, hey, I had the normal version, but now I have a special edition or something. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, like the original DVD release of Ferris Bueller has a commentary by John Hughes, but the later editions, that's the first thing that got cut because they figure nobody cares.
Oh, wow. That's
and he didn't do a lot of commentaries, if any.
Yeah, so that must have been like the popular film from him. Well, it was popular, obviously, but like maybe it's just one that he really wanted to do commentary on before he passed away.
Yeah. Well, also, when DVDs first started becoming popular, the first DVD player I bought was $300 in 1999, and I bought it because I wanted the Matrix, but I didn't want the Matrix on VHS. I wanted it on this new disc thing, man. Sure. I want it. And DVDs at that time, even catalog titles, were $30.
Yeah.
I paid $30 for Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Defending Your Life, Austin Powers. So in order to convince the public that that was a good purchase, they did stuff like the commentaries and stuff. They really tried. And that lasted all the way until 2005 when Batman Begins came out on DVD.
Okay.
And that was the first one that I can remember where you could buy the movie for like $12 or the deluxe one for $25 that has the trailer, the making of, the 2 discs, all that. And I'm like, oh, now they figured out to charge us for it. So then, I mean, that's when I started slowing my collection down because it was too expensive.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I always love film no matter what, and that's why I enjoy talking to a guy like you because you love talking about films. You know, with everything going on in this world, films is like all we have, that and music or whatever. But gotta keep it going. You know, can't just like let it die. And you know, because I don't know, around my area, it's hard to say. You know, what people like because I live in an area where you have to make your own entertainment. Entertainment's not there for you. I mean, it can be there for you, but sometimes it takes a car ride or whatever to go somewhere, to go to another town or to be entertained or whatever.
Mhm.
Unlike you, where you live, you know, you can probably get entertainment from the next door neighbor, probably. You know?
Yeah, well, we have a friend who lives in rural Michigan, and she wrote us that she was so excited her town was getting a Starbucks.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're starting to do Starbucks. And I said, you know, where I'm sitting, I think within 10 minutes I could get to 6.
Well, in our town, it was like 2 or maybe 3 years ago, we just got a Dollar General. So how exciting is that?
Oh
We're
my
also
God.
excited, and we just got a Burger King in a town that's 20 miles from me. So it's like, you know,
Wow.
rather than being 2 hours away from one, now we got one that's 20 minutes away. So it's just like we're so amazed because we're small town folk, you know.
Yeah, no. And it's funny because people who live like me, we dream of going to a small town and disappearing and maybe not being noticed for a while. Because here, I mean, everywhere you go, it's mobbed. I go to this, like I said, I go to swap meet every weekend,
Yeah.
and as far as the swap meet's concerned, there's no pandemic here.
Oh yeah.
0.
Yeah, I've seen the swap meet videos that you post, or you know, on your Tucker Time video, and yeah, it seems like they just don't care. It's like they got
It's
some
much
that,
more fun.
yeah, some are pretty organized, and then you got that Chinese woman who's always yelling at you or yelling
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like, well, must be a good day if she's yelling or something.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, Jeff, I do appreciate chatting with you. Is there, well, for anybody that wants to know more about you or you know more about Tucker Time, how can people do it?
Look up on YouTube Tucker Time or 91 Reasons, which is the name of my podcast. I do 91 Reasons podcast on iTunes and anywhere you get a podcast, you can search 91 Reasons. If you go on YouTube, I put up the 91 Reasons audio tracks for people who maybe get their stuff that way. I'm starting to do not live, but like podcasts where you can see me talking, which is like a video cast, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Tucker Time is the family vlog if you want to see all the craziness that we get up to. And then on Amazon, I have my book, Your Friend in Time, How Back to the Future Changed My Life. Or you can look up my book series, The Sixth Key, which has The Sixth Key, its sequels, The Lost Station, The Infinite Backward, The Ice Temple, and Book 5, The Tomorrow Machine, is coming probably sometime next year.
Oh,
That's
that's
enough.
well, that's awesome. I mean, it seems like you got enough to keep you busy. I mean, wow. Well, that's awesome, Jeff. I appreciate your time, and you know, just keep everything going, man. I mean, you seem like you're on a roll, and maybe who knows, maybe somebody will pick you up eventually.
You never know, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean, for having me, and good luck and help your show hits the global audience, man.
Yes, we're worldwide, you know, worldwide all the time.
Yes.
All right,
We're on
Jeff.
the World Wide Web.
Well, we appreciate you, Jeff, and take care.
All right, now listen. If you left now, you could be at Burger King in half an hour.
That's right. That's right. Talk to you later,
All right.
man. Bye.
All right.
All right, everybody. There you go. And that is that. Jeff Tucker, everybody.